Hey guys, the tip tackle for this Tuesday is a long one, but a good one. I had to write it down. For step one, what are some good extra resources and high yield topics to keep in mind? It's a great question. Basically, it's going to be different for everybody, and it depends on your weakness, and that's why I recommend that you do a self-assessment ahead of time so you can rank out what your weakest points are. Some resources are better to tackle certain topics than others, and you don't want to waste your time, obviously. But if you look on the back of your step one book, there will actually be a bunch of resources listed and ranked. I've heard different students use different ones that are better for them and their style technique. So definitely take a look at that list, see what's available in your library, and browse through it, see which one you like. It doesn't take long to kind of figure it out. You can see, especially if you focus on the parts that are your weakest points, because you'll see what kind of style of writing or information layout fits. Now, in addition to that, definitely a resource to keep in mind would be UWorld for sure, and really any question bank. The more questions that you have and that you practice, the better you'll do, I feel. But UWorld notoriously seems to be the best question bank currently right now that students use in terms of question style setup as well as information yield. With respect to the high yield topics, everything, but for me, biochemistry seemed to be huge, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree with that. It was probably one of the most difficult things to tackle, so keep in mind with that. If that's your weakness, work on it, and consider also prep courses too. That might be a good additional resource to give you that edge or that competitive edge, like North American students, especially if you're having consistently the same struggle, for example, biochem. So yeah, those are my tips with respect to this question. Thank you very much for your questions, and here are some of the tips from your fellow alumni.
The following quote is from Dr. Krishnaragu. The key to conquering step one. There are 5 phases to studying for step 1 that all overlap to some extent. Number 1, understand the concepts and the whys. Number 2, memorize the details and concepts. Number 3, apply your knowledge by interpreting questions. Number 4, repeat step 3 because practice makes perfect. Number 5, assess where you stand and learn from your mistakes. Sketchy micro and Pathoma and boards and beyond, or even Kaplan lecture notes, are great for phase 1. During this time, annotate everything in first aid. First aid is good for phase 2. Going through UWorld twice is for phase 3 and phase 4. Again, annotate the extra concepts in first aid. Your NBMEs and your UWorld self-assessments are for phase 5. Use this as a learning tool to review and correct. The fewer resources you have, the better. The more repetition, the better, and the more questions, the better. I'd say all topics are fair game. The most high yield are the topics tested in UWorld and NBMEs. And when you do enough questions, you will start noticing patterns in commonly tested topics such as statin myotherapy, renal arterial stenosis. They turn up on almost all NBMEs. Attached is another link suggested by our featured physician for additional tips on how to do well in step 1. Until then, good luck.